Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. It's Monday, June the 6th. I'm Tony Haggerty, Haggerty10 Twitter handle. I'm joined as always by Sean Martin at Sean Martin TCW Twitter handle. You know the drill, guys. How you doing, Sean? Good weekend?
Aye, not bad. Wee bit sunburnt, Tony. I'm not going to lie, but not bad.
Good. Hope we all enjoyed the sun. Hope we all had a good weekend. We're back to reality again, Sean. Another working week talking about Celtic et al. It's torture without the football, but we're getting there. We're filling the space and we're filling the time. First things first, you'll see on the top of your screen and running along the bottom the One Football app, guys. If you haven't downloaded it, I would recommend you to do so just now. The one-stop football shop for scores, news, lineups, transfer rumours, live streaming, match highlights, and lots more besides. You can immerse yourself in the digital football experience and have the best personal digital football experience out there. It's a cracking app, and as always, we thank them for their sponsorship. And you can, as you see running along the bottom, try us out. Give us a 30-day free trial, Sean. You'll see all sorts of wonderful journalism covering the club that we all love. You know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. Sean's put the links to the subscription up there. So, Sean, Celtic. Hiya, David. How you doing? Hiya, Sons of Scotland. Yes, we'll keep your comments coming in, guys. Coming on, morning, guys. Yep, we're all good here. Now, Sean, over the weekend, a couple of things happened, and there was a couple of things that happened with Celtic and another rival Scottish Premiership club, Aberdeen being that club. The Celtic have been linked with a move. More names, but Connor Barron, Sean, 19-year-old defensive midfielder, contracted to the club to 2024, but very highly rated by Jim Goodwin.
He is, aye. I'm not sure about it, Tony. I'm not sure. I'm going to caveat everything I'm about to say with that. It was the Express reported that a representative of Celtic obviously was there in Belgium to watch the Scotland under-21s draw 0-0. And he did impress. Overall, there's a few things for me, though, worth pointing out. One, while he has impressed at Aberdeen in the second half of the season, in fact, he was one of only a couple of positives from the season as a whole, really. And he did well with Celtic Hearts on loan before that. He was at Brecon City the season before that as well. It is only half a season of top-level football, I suppose. Two, he signed a new 2.5-year deal with the Dons in January, which obviously ties into everything when it comes into negotiations. Three, he's 19, about to turn 20, and this is probably the most important part for me. Where does signing a centre mid like him leave the likes of, for instance, Scott Robertson after a season on loan at Crewe Alexandra? He's only a year older, remember? So does he or guys of his ilk just not get a chance if you sign Connor Barron from Aberdeen? That's the kind of thing I'd be looking at.
Yeah, indeed. Now you've caveated that quite well there, Sean. Yeah, I mean, we hear about Scott Robertson and he's did very well at Crewe, but as you say, where does that leave him? And defensive midfielder, isn't that what James McCarthy is?
Well, that's one of the comments here. Why go for a defensive mid? Give McCarthy a good and fit pre-season, he will shine. I see the point. You've already got a couple there. I think we've sat here for weeks now, though, and said that they do require another midfielder in there. An athletic. I don't really like to say defensive because, as I always say to you when we're talking about it, you need the other quality as well, or you've got lost in that midfield. But I do think that Gerald makes a good point that actually, if they did sign him, would probably be back out on loan. For me, it is that last point is the one I'll keep coming back to, though. Owen Brown, for instance, has written a column on our website today addressing 3 potential youngsters who, if they get a chance, that's the main bit there, if they get a chance in pre-season, could play their way into Ange Postecoglou's squad for the first half of next season at least. Surely signing someone of a similar age from Aberdeen hinders that promotion from within. I suppose, again, the only caveat is if he is actively more suited or more talented than any of the players around his age and position that Celtic have on the books. But is he? I can't say I've watched him massively closely in the last few months of the season, but I have obviously done my research, and he is a defensive midfielder in that sense. He's more defensive minded than anything else. Makes a lot of interceptions, makes a lot of tackles, goes long ways passing, probably more than you'd want. But as I say, he's 19, just about to turn 20. He could be moulded into a good first team player.
Yeah.
He is talented. If there is anything in this, you'd say there would be a heavy ask for him to do that right away. So I think Gerald makes a good point. You're probably signing him to loan him back or out elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's, as I say, before you consider the impact it would have on the pathway to the first team for in-house prospects.
And again, with all these things, Sean, you trust the manager's judgment now on these things. If this is true and he is looking at them, then you know the way he signs players to fit into his team. So maybe he sees something in the boy that he thinks can either do it straight away or maybe be a benefit of the loan system, see how it goes. Now, another player, Sean, that was linked going the other way was Liam Scales to Aberdeen.
Yep.
And I saw a comment earlier saying a swap deal. I don't know if there would be, barring for Scales swaps to the Retro Celtic. I don't know if that would be in the offing because I think the two of them are separate, aren't they, Sean? Just my knowledge and reading of it.
I think so.
From Liam Scales, possibly.
I think a loan move actually might be really good for him. He's shown flashes of decent play, but also for me, with the size that he carries, he still needs to get to grips with things physically, I'd suggest. Especially, and this is probably the biggest point, especially if he has any real designs on playing left centre-back, like you said was his favourite position. He's obviously only played left-back for Celtic. That versatility is good, but if he's got any designs on seriously testing or seriously becoming an option for Celtic at left centre-back, I think that's the kind of thing he would need to improve. It will come with more game time, but it's whether they'll get that game time to learn it at Celtic. I would suggest not. Reports up north actually suggest it's a permanent move that Jim Goodwin would like for him. I wouldn't be too quick to let him go permanently just yet, and certainly not at the very start of this window with, for instance, Carter Vickers not having signed, other defenders not having signed, no other left backs coming in yet. I think not yet.
Right, Arthur Taylor, he's saying Scales' class, that's for sure. I was worried when I read that as well. The thoughts are that it could be a permanent move. But I think there's potential in Scales, and I would want him to either stay, develop that potential at Celtic, or go on a loan move to a club like Aberdeen and enhance his reputation and play first-team football matches. Because as we spoke off air, it didn't do Ryan Christie any harm, didn't it?
No, I like to mention that. I like that.
Yes. Go on, Sean.
No, it's the thing with Aberdeen specifically is, I think actually Aberdeen under Stephen Glass would have been a good move for him and the likes of Mikey Johnston. Under Jim Goodwin, I'm unconvinced yet that style of play would benefit him. But the club as a whole would, going to Aberdeen in general would. I stayed there for about 6 years. If you're not from there or haven't lived there, it's quite difficult to understand that it is quite a high pressure environment. It's obviously not to the same extent as Glasgow, but it still is. I'd argue probably maybe only Edinburgh, and even then I would probably argue Aberdeen's case. Outside of Glasgow, there is an expectation there, fairly or unfairly. There's an expectation there, and I think that would benefit him playing for Aberdeen if he was playing consistently.
But there should be some, because they're one of the biggest clubs in Scottish football. Aberdeen. So there should be an expectation there. They've had an absolute horror of a season last season.
Aye.
So
in terms of where he would play, I don't mean like geographically, I mean on the pitch, where he would play. That versatility I mentioned, it can be a hindrance as well as a help sometimes. But I look at Andy Considine having gone now, but for years up there he made it work. He made it work for him. That versatility, he got plenty of game time. Whether it was left back or left centre back, Scales could help fill that gap this season if he went to Aberdeen. I know Considine was injured for the majority of last season, but they did miss him. They missed that versatility. And as I say, at one point up in Aberdeen, I actually like Andy Considine. I thought he was a really good player, but at one point you're thinking, is he got a voodoo doll for everybody that's in front of him in the queue to get game time? Because every season he would end up playing 30, 40 games.
And I think the Celtic supporters' personal jury's out with Scales. I think they've liked a lot of what they've seen, and then sometimes not so much, but he's not played enough for them to form any real solid judgments. He's played in fits and starts, and there's been flashes, and they seem to and he seems to have impressed quite a lot of the supporters. But I think they would want to see him on a more regular basis, wouldn't they? To see if he could. Yeah, I agree with that comment with David right at the bit. Yeah, only Ange and the staff know if he's good enough to cut it, and I think that's the category that Scales falls into. Have we seen enough of him to know that he would cut it? What we have seen of him, he's impressed in the small bit parts that he's played.
I agree with that. I think specifically with Scales, I mean, Ange has seen him for a full season now in training. And that's something that he always mentions about the intensity of the training and all of that. So I think if I think that will give you a hint into whether he thinks he can actually make an impact as a squad player this season. I've no objection, as I said, with him going on loan. I think it actually could be the making of him. I just think I wouldn't be so quick to let him go right at the start of the window until there's other reinforcements there, until, for instance, another left back has been recruited, until Carter Vickers is made permanent, and maybe another centre back's actually in for cover as well.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing. The good thing is the window isn't even open yet, so
Friday, Sean, June the 10th. Friday, June the 10th.
It's another couple of days till that, but even then, I'd maybe preach a wee bit of caution on that front.
Yeah, and also over the weekend, Sean, I saw a comment coming in there. I don't know if you've read too much about him. Where is it now?
Is it Frank Kennedy? Chris Scott?
Yeah, Chris Scott. Yeah, Bayern Munich player now.
Chris we've got a scouting report on the website, Tony. Never forget.
We have.
It's from a few weeks ago, but I've put it back on the homepage just because the kind of reports have moved up a gear again, reportedly anyway. I mean, again, until I really don't want to spend every day looking at different links.
Of course.
The Aberdeen links, we couldn't really get away from that. That's in your own backyard, that kind of thing. Yeah. Chris Scott, that's been kind of dragging on a wee while now. But the scouting reports on the website. In fact, I'll put a link in. as well.
It's been mooted for a while now, hasn't it? And again, like the Jota and Carter Vickers, you just kind of seem to be reading the same kind of thing, don't you?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Aye. So, but in terms of the player profile and stuff, it could be a good signing. Against central midfield, we've all kind of says we need another couple of players in there. Maybe there's actually a few comments here that tie into that. David Bradley moving Callum McGregor up one for the start of the season. He likes him further forward. I absolutely love him as the deep midfielder, to be honest. But that said, it's not exactly. This is what me and Alison were talking about last week, Tony, about the FIFA Pro report arguing that players should get a 4-week block off and shouldn't play too many back-to-back games in 90 minutes and all that. And the kind of question we kept coming back to was, but how do you give McGregor that rest when he's the captain and he's the best midfielder? And if he's not playing the deep midfielder, you're never saying he's out the team. You're saying he's moving up one. So, but I do get where you're coming from, David. The question would be, or the solution, I suppose, would be who plays at the 6 then? Who do you trust to play at the 6? We've another comment there that from Patrick McLaughlin, hoping Ideguchi's the joker in the pack, and that is how McGregor gets moved up one. Maybe that's maybe a solution.
We have spoken about Ideguchi, and again, someone who got injured against Alawan has not had the chance to really cement a first team place. But we do have options, and I think all the Celtic supporters are hoping to see more of Ideguchi and what he brings to the table. For Celtic, like you, Sean, Calmack is the 6th. There you go.
The thing is, again, that versatility thing, if you can play both, it's fine. Like you can tinker with stuff, but
there's not a position in that midfield that Calmack can't play and won't play if he has to. So he is just the go-to man and the glue that holds that midfield together, and long may that continue. But as you said, you made a good point. We don't want to come on and speculate about this and that and all the names that are thrown in, because we said it last week, it is the silly season, isn't it?
Aye. It's again, I want to stress, we're not going to spend every single day looking at whatever the latest link is. It's going to be when it's like kind of padded out a bit, like the Aberdeen ones. Because it's
a lot more detail to those, wasn't there? So that's why we chose to look at them. Now, touching on something else, Sean, there's a vote being taken today in the Lowland League, isn't there? To see, I think, what is it, Celtic need 8 clubs to compete. To compete again next season, but Hearts have also thrown their hat into the ring to compete. Is that right? That's where the
That's why we're
deal.
at this. That's why we're at this part, because the Lowland League had already kind of accepted that there would be 2 guest sides, which was obviously presumed to be Celtic and Rangers B teams, and then Hearts threw in an application, and the 3 have essentially said, well, it's all of us or none of us, which I don't know what you think about that. I'm not sure that's the wisest thing you've done, but Alison and myself discussed that a week or 2 ago when that news came out. I think it was Mail Sport that reported it at the time, but it's actually vote day today. So I would say keep an eye on the site for the result of that, and whether Celtic B will indeed be back in the Lowland League next year. If not, I would imagine, Tony, that it's going to be a heap more loan moves out the way, isn't it?
Yes, of course. That would make sense, wouldn't it? If that is the case, but we'll keep an eye on that vote. It'll be up on the website later on today, won't it?
Yes, it will be.
Don't know when the vote's actually taking place. Now, this one's kind of thrown me. Andrew, are you talking to me in a kind of Robert De Niro style? Go all taxi driver on you.
I'm going to assume he means because it says we're not talking about every single link and no matter how tenuous.
Right, is that what it is? We need to chat about something. That's what he means, yes. Of course, yes. We do need to chat about something. You're right, Andrew. That's very true. But yeah, if we go through the whole list of players, it would be pretty exhausting as well, wouldn't it? And I believe Sean Japan are kicking off at 11:20, aren't they? We are team news from them.
I've been looking at it's 20 past, so it should actually be out now. I'll just double check. But I've got a wee roundup. There was a few international players on over the weekend. Obviously, not everybody played. Carl Starfelt withdrew from the Swedish squad, but he did put out a message on social media saying, "See you next season," and it was international matches that he was withdrawn from and different things. He never really hinted that it was going to be a long-term thing. So I'm tenuously kind of hoping that you can take stuff from that.
I'm just laughing at Robert here. Just remember, we're all Tony's wardrobe. And Frank comes in, let's talk about the antique wardrobe. Arthur Negus couldn't give you a price for that. For those of a certain vintage, they'll know what I mean with it. But there you go. No, carry on.
Juranovic on Friday night, just the ones that we mentioned on Friday. Juranovic played the full 90 minutes for Croatia, but they get beat 3-0 to Austria.
Yeah.
Silver lining for him is that it's his first competitive minutes since the Scottish Cup semi-final loss. So that is actually a net positive for Celtic. It doesn't really matter that Croatia lost, I don't think. Then you had Matt O'Reilly versus Kazakhstan under-21s for the Danish under-21 Saturday afternoon. He got 63 minutes and grabbed an assist in the very first of those in a 3-0 win. Starfelt withdrew from the Swedish squad. Stephen Welsh played for Scotland under-21s against Belgium under-21s on Sunday afternoon alongside Connor Barron, obviously. Played 84 minutes. Creditable 0-0 draw, Tony. Made it 8 interceptions. 8 interceptions on his 84 minutes, which is quite good. And then obviously try to figure out whether Kyogo or Maida are starting the day, because the team usually will come through for that just now. But last night, Cameron Carter-Vickers did not get on against Uruguay. As America drew 0-0. But nonetheless, he's still in and about the squad, isn't he? So
yes, indeed. I was going to say, and it was flagged up on social media last night that Georgios Giakoumakis played for Greece.
Yes, of course.
Didn't he, Sean? And there was a familiar referee. John Beaton was the referee. And what did John Beaton do? He booked Georgios Giakoumakis, I believe. Now, I've not seen any footage. Can't call if it's a definite booking or not, but Twitter was alight with it all last night, wasn't it? About conspiracy theories. So I was killing myself laughing at that. So I want to see the footage of that if I can chase it down. But yeah, I did find that quite funny, Sean. Didn't you?
It was careful what you say, but true to type almost. But aye.
No, I just find that some things never change. But now here's a compliment, Sean. Guys, the both of you are on the rock and roll. Is that rhyming slang?
I hope I'm not on the rock and roll and nobody's told us.
I hope he means we are rock and roll and not on the rock and roll.
Not at the door,
Old school back there. Brilliant, Arthur. Appreciate that. But no,
that wardrobe of yours, Tony, they're obsessed.
I know,
they're obsessed
with it. It's just full of clothes. and most of my clothes are green shirts and green jumpers. Apart from the one today, I like to mix it up now and again and wear the Johnny Cash gear, all black. But there you have it. Now, we will have that vote later on. It'll be on the website, the Lowland B vote, for all the guys that are interested. Sean's put up the link to Bayern Munich, Chris Scott, haven't you, Sean?
Yeah. I have, it's in the comments. I'll put up the subscription link again. I hope you're probably too modest here to plug it, Tony, but I hope you were all on reading that Steve Blair big interview that Tony produced over the weekend. A couple of lines from that, and every one of them very, very enjoyable. Tony, it must have been enjoyable to do as well.
What I will say is Steve Blair, who is one of Angie's closest friends in football, he's the Blairy that Angie's mentioned a couple of times in interviews. And what a wonderful fella he was. I had spent about 45 minutes chatting to him, and just an absolute diamond fellow. And again, talking about very modest about his own career as well. He had a bit of a sterling career down under, 13 Australia caps, scored against Rangers for Australia B in 1984. And it included McCoist and David Cooper and Ian Redford and Dave McPherson. And just a wonderful, wonderful man. And he gave me a cracking insight into the young Ange, when he worked with Ferenc Puskas, and just their friendship in general. And it was, as you say, there was a lot of stuff came out of it, and he spoke about the phone call that Ange made to him to tell his pal, because Steve's originally from Drumchapel and a mad Celtic fan, and he was very emotional when Ange got the job, and he told me all about that. So if you want to have a read, guys, there's 3 parts to it, and it's a wonderful insight into the Celtic manager, and I encourage you to read that. As Sean said, I wasn't going to plug it, but I probably should have. But there you go, Sean.
No, I thought I would do the honours. Thoroughly enjoyed reading that. It's worth the free trial. If you don't subscribe already, that's worth your free trial to go on and read them.
Yeah, it's worth the read alone, because I say it's not just Angie's mate. It's a man who played football and carved a career in the game himself, and the two of them became very, very close because they were South Melbourne teammates. And he gives you a wee insight into what makes our manager tick. And it was a lovely thing to do, and I just hope that I did him proud and he's happy with it.
Yep, can't say better than that. I don't think, Tony. I think that's a nice wee bit to end on.
I think so.
I can actually confirm Kyogo is starting up front for Japan against Brazil, by the way. So that'll be on somewhere. I'm sure some of you have access to that. Japan v Brazil in just less than an hour.
Excellent. That'll be good. Can try and source that somewhere. Sean, we'll find it somewhere, won't we?
Certainly will. Aye.
And maybe tomorrow, Pat and Jordan will give you a latest on that.
The weekly update will be there at some stage.
As it inches closer. But there you go. But guys, have a wonderful Monday. Sean, as always, top class contribution. Always enjoy it. Thanks for the comments. Keep them coming in. Even the ones about the wardrobe, I still find them highly amusing. I might open the wardrobe one day and you'll be really disappointed with the contents, to be honest.
With no skeletons falling.
No skeletons, no, it'll be all right. And I promise I'll dig Super Striker from the top of it, and you can see it in its splendour and glory. But Sean, thanks for your contribution, as I say, excellent. And not a Super Striker an empty box. No, Robert, it's not. I've said before, I've got a Celtic team, a very rare hen's teeth Celtic Super Striker team, so it'll be worth waiting for. Let's put it that way. Guys, have a good day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Same back channel. Thanks a lot.
Cheers, Tony. Cheers, guys.